So everyone, I have Amir. He's back on my show, and he's passionate for human rights and social justice. He's got a passion for aviation, and also Amir is seeking the BC Park Board nomination for COPE Vancouver. Welcome, congratulations! That's awesome.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to be back. And just to be clear, I was seeking nomination, but I wasn't successful because yeah, the number of candidates that Cope ran for nomination was free, and according to equity rules, one of those slots have to be an Indigenous candidate, which was a man, and the number of male candidates should not be more than female candidates. As such, I couldn't be part of the Cope slate, but I'm supporting the awesome slate of candidates, and I'm looking forward to helping them getting elected, because it's a diverse slate, and every one of them can bring something awesome to the table.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you for updating me on that, and but you'll have definitely a lot of good, valuable input on what you'd like to see changed, right? Within there, sure. That's Jean Swanson's area too.
Yes, Jean is great. She was very supportive of us during many initiatives, and she's always available to listen to provide feedback, to help you, and to listen to your concerns. I'm grateful to be in the same camp as her.
Yeah, Jean is a wonderful lady. I've met her several times, and she's very passionate for housing, of getting supportive housing for people, to get them off the streets and into a nice, safe environment. And same as the former minister who I just had on there. I'm sure you found that quite interesting there. What he had to say there. He was he basically saw a lot on the street level. He actually lives in Vancouver, so he actually has seen a lot. He learned a lot. I went to a lot of different convention meetings, meeting with Shane Simpson and Sonia also, and we grilled him a lot there, Amir. So he got to hear from us on many occasions about rates and why are you not doing this and that, and I mean, and so like I explained to him, which I'll explain to you also, is we learn from each other, right? We learn so much, and like he learned from people within his from his government. Like he learned a lot, and there's stuff that he didn't know, and he learned by lived experience. And so we taught him a lot, and I mean, you teach us a lot from what you actually, from what you've gone through in your life, right? Lived experience of different things, and then you bring it to our table, and then we tell you things. So it's kind of give and take a bit, and yeah.
Thank you. I'm still learning from everyone, and especially from this forum that I joined. This is the second time I'm coming. And actually, Shane, I know Shane through the NDP, and I wanted to say hi to him if he's still around.
He left.
Yeah, we know each other, and I'm grateful to for his support when he was a minister, and when he was an MLA and a minister. We had conversations about stuff, and I remember that he actually came to a debate organized by the Iranian community between himself and Ralph Sultan, and that was a good way to bring the conversation to communities that may not hear these discussions. And actually, this was we talked about Jean, we talked about Cope and Shane. One thing that I think is very important is an issue that I encountered a few days ago, maybe last week. So the news of fentanyl prescriptions came. Somebody picked that up and translated that into Farsi and published it on their website. and posted on one of these Farsi groups on Facebook in Vancouver. And the reactions were interesting, I would say. And it really, I mean, I'm grateful that a lot of people they understood the value and the importance of safe supply. But on the other hand, it felt like a lot of people just think of it as government handing out, heroin and fentanyl and being drug dealer and stuff, which is a very naive way of looking at programs like this. And the challenge is we did not really include all societies in these conversations. So when we evolved and moved forward, some people are like, well, what's happening there? Because, they're newcomers here, they're not, they're busy with their life. It's happening in another language, so they may not pay attention to it, even if they speak perfect English. And all of a sudden, they face this news without any context, without any understanding of whatever happened beforehand, without knowing that we're actually in a public health emergency for a situation that we have with drug overdose, and then all of a sudden we're like, what the hell? And so I think this is where progressives, especially, and people who are active in these fields, need to do more work to bring those conversations in simple terms to our communities. Actually, I had a great chat with one of the other park board candidates, Chris Livingston, great guy. So he works in downtown East Side. He knows the issues, and I asked him, Chris, can you explain in simple terms, in 5 minutes, why safe supply matters? And he was like, oh yeah. So we want to do something, a small tidbit of video with him, and we want to share it on social media. And we're looking forward to do some these small information videos from people who know what they're talking about, just simplifying it for people who may not know what this discussion is all about. Like we talked about employment for people with disabilities, we gotta again bring that conversation to other languages and saying, hey, there is a net benefit. It's not like you're doing those people a favor by hiring them. You're doing yourself a favor too, because there's an abundance of talent, and giving them an opportunity is good for your business for these variety of reasons, and good for everyone. Mm-hmm. So this is. I talked about this last time I was on this forum, and this is something that at least I want to focus more, and I want to make sure that these discussions are don't just stay within the mainstream society. They have to go beyond.
It is so important that for it to resonate beyond, right? So that people are aware of what the impacts are to people who are going through a crisis, with different drug uses, opioids. I mean, you name it, right? I mean, it's a crisis, right? And it's on how is it being dealt with by city levels, municipal levels, government, provincial, federal, right? Federal is giving provincial legalized amount of drugs to them, right? People say, oh, well, why are they giving it to them? Well, if they don't, I mean, they're getting poison drugs, right? It's getting contaminated with other stuff, I guess. So, I mean, I leave up to the expertise people to know all that, to how to deal with all that. But I mean, I've heard of this, like it's been brought to a different discussion forums that I've listened to. And the top one is, you nailed it. It's having people like the views, like you mentioned, Chris on the park board, right? So yeah, like I mean, having his view, because he sees what goes on the ground level. It's getting the people the help that they need, so that perhaps they can better themselves. Like, it's kind of like what Shane was saying. Like, they might be able to better themselves. They maybe not. He said, but if they can, great. I mean, I've heard some stories where some of them they have major drug addictions, right? They've cleaned themselves up. They're actually now able to work and doing all sorts of things that they never thought they could actually do, because they were able to do certain things, but they just needed that extra help to kind of give themselves that push to get to a better environment for themselves, a safe environment, that is. Not like an SRO or something, right? But, something a little bit more safer.
Yeah, and this is something that we have to these are simple. These things can be explained in simple terms, because if we don't do it, unfortunately, there are others who would take advantage and manipulate communities. So I remember during the federal election in 2015. My ex-partner, she was Chinese, and she showed me pamphlets sent by the Conservative Party in Mandarin, and they were basically it was something along the lines that Trudeau wants to open brothels and like heroin dispensaries into communities and stuff, and because nobody tried to bring in the Chinese community into this conversation, and there was this assumption that the left and the right share that they're a bunch of conservative people, and we should not bother talking to them about these things. So let's just manipulate them. I think if we want to make a difference for people, we got to bring in more allies. We should not let others turn them into enemies. One of the major challenges in all of this is that politicians don't really exert their power as much as they should. It's the bureaucrats who are running these systems, and this especially is true about BC. And bureaucracy doesn't like change. So anything new for them, and it doesn't matter how small, they're gonna resist. This is one of the challenges, and I'm not trying to basically justify the shortfalls of politicians. There's no justification.
Oh, no, yeah.
So what we need, and in conclusion, I should say, what we need on the progressive side, especially, is some sort of a, and I hate to say this, a Trump-like figure or a Ford-like figure who doesn't care and who's not scared to actually get stuff done and transforms things. Like when Ford changed the ward system in Toronto, of course that was a very weird move, and it was very dumb, but he did it no matter what. Like instead of all these talking and stuff, like we don't have that kind of figure on the left, and this is a challenge. And for that reason, I mean, I'm with you. I don't want to get see Ford re-elected, but I'm also worried that the next government would be like, oh, we want to be the middle of the road, or not, or have both sides, and both have our cake and eat it, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or it's like they say, you can chew bubble gum and you can walk two at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, all we can do is just keep pushing the narrative, and get media out there, tell the real life stories of what people go through.